Will democracy survive the next couple of years?
Access to Democracy is made possible by donations from the following organizations. Thomson Reuters, a global company with expertise and insight to unravel complex situations in the areas of law, tax, compliance, government, and media. Their worldwide network of journalists and editors keep customers up to speed on relevant global events. Thomson Reuters, The Answer Company. Crutchfield Dermatology, a full-service treatment center and Medi-Spa in Eagan. Their goal is to help you look good and feel great with beautiful skin. With service built around courtesy, dignity, and respect, Mayo-trained Dr. Charles Crutchfield personally treats each patient and is acknowledged as one of the nation's best physicians. Truestone Financial, with locations in Minnesota and Wisconsin, has proudly served its members since 1939. Truestone engages, educates, and supports its members to ensure they have the tools to empower their financial well-being. Truestone Financial, your neighborhood credit union. Learn more at truestone.org. Edina Eye Physicians and Surgeons, a division of Twin Cities Eye Consultants, has proudly served the Twin Cities for more than 55 years now, in 7 convenient locations. Using the most advanced technology combined with human touch, Edina Eye offers comprehensive services and dedicated specialists committed to excellence, with innovative procedures and expertise for the most advanced eye care.
Welcome back to Access to Democracy. Alan Miller with you, which is usual, and we have a guest first time who is unusual. Now, normally I would ask the guest to do a little bit of background for you folks, but number one, he's going to leave some things out. And number two, I really want you to know about Albert Scaglione, who is the proprietor of Park West Gallery. Not only that, he is the world's largest art dealer, but it wasn't always that way. This is a man who personifies the American dream. He started out on a 3rd floor walk-up in Nutley, New Jersey. His father was driving a truck. He actually worked on that truck for a number of years as a kid, much too young to be working on the truck. He didn't, I have to add, he didn't really like school at that time. His mother got him off the truck because they had a cousin who had an art gallery, and he did framing, he did stretching of canvas, he did things like that. And ultimately, he graduated high school, which some people would have bet either way. He was active in sports until age 11 when he got a tumor in his arm, and it was life or death for a couple of years. He comes from a family of 3 brothers and sisters, and it's the typical American dream. Coming from that, going on to college, going on to graduate school, going on to Wayne State University, where he became a professor. He taught for a number of years. What was he a professor of? Engineering. And he worked in aerodynamics. He worked on the program that really our first moon program with Dr. I.M. Pai. So how did this man become the world's largest art dealer? It's a story which he's going to share with you. We're going to share with you. I have to have a disclaimer here. Sharon and I have been patrons of Park West Gallery since 2002. And we met Albert. He didn't know it, but we met him on a cruise ship when we went to an auction. Well, that was it. We got hooked, and it has been a long and bountiful journey, expensive all as well. But one thing about Albert, is that he never forgot where he came from, and he never forgot his humble beginnings. You can go to a Park West auction and you could pay $199 for a painting that is a genuine artist painting. You can pay $199,000 for a painting. And it's an incredible, incredible story. So I just want to welcome Albert Scaglione.
Well, thank you so much. It's obviously you're looking at the book, you read the book, and you got a good memory. Yeah, all of that stuff's true. The part about the art gallery was a life-changing experience for me. I mean, we're kind of going into the book a little bit right now, and it was something. It was riveting to recognize I didn't have to work that hard with my hands, which I was very good at. I started at about 9, 8, and 10, line 10. In the book, I think of 8 or 9, and my mom didn't want me to go, but then I turned a year later. A year older, at 4th of July is how my dad and I explained it away. Well, he's going to be that age anyway. And I was pretty a strong kid. Even when the arm thing hit, didn't stop me from working. I still worked. I worked a lot more with my left hand and my left arm, developed that very well. But as it turned out, this gallery experience, I saw people buying these pictures. I didn't get it really. And I said, gee, they're pretty nice. Why did they pay that much money for that? And then I heard my cousin Paul, who came from Italy, from Venice actually, explaining the art and working with a client. And occasionally I'd meet an artist. And it all started to come together. This was just another level, and that, you know, people really got into these particular pictures. And wham, bam, my mom and dad fell in love with a particular picture that they came into the gallery over. And I'd been working there for, I don't know, maybe a couple of months. In the summers when I worked. And that was when I decided that would be theirs. And I made a deal with my cousin. It was a lot of money for me. I worked a lot of that time for that picture. And when I gave it to them, they kind of cried. It was like surprise. My dad, he wouldn't, but he got close. My mom, obviously, and put it over the fireplace in the living room. I can still see it in my head. And it was a breath of relief for a man who worked so hard that he couldn't get the grease out of his hands. His nails were just so full of it. That's just the way it was. He'd scrub when he came home. He'd take off his clothes and he'd scrub and scrub and scrub. I'd see him down in the basement where he had a sink that he could go into. And he was clean. He shaved usually twice a day, when he left it and when he came back. It was a very.
I don't shave twice a day, as you can see.
Well, you look good. You look good.
From that beginning, and here you are as a professor at Wayne State University, and you just threw it all away. You got a second mortgage on your home. You took out a loan because you wanted to open an art gallery, and you opened an art gallery in Southfield, Michigan, of 900 square feet. Now, here you are today. If you travel any place in the country where there's an art auction at a hotel, it's generally a Park West auction. If you travel the seas and you get introduced to just about 100 ships, just about any major company, it's a Park West auction that's available to you. So how did you go from there to here, where you are literally the leading art auctioneer in the world?
By doing what I wanted to do and what I believed I had to do, just by following my passion and not my logical brain or my heart or my head. Just I have to do this. I have to do this. And when I left engineering, I had to leave because the government had taken the money that was driving the Mars program out. I was heavily vested in those programs. I had contracts that lasted a period of time. I knew when they'd run out. It was about when I left, actually, late 1969. I actually did some stuff right into 70. Even as I had the art gallery, I had to finish up. I had commitments and I finished them. I was able to do both. And the decision was driven by, I spent a whole lot of time in my life getting to be nearly 30 years of age, from when I was about 18, 19 in college, till then, learning from some great minds, not just Dr. Pi, but I can name Alex Thompson, who worked for Edward Teller, father of the atomic bomb, wrote him a one-word letter of recommendation: genius. I worked with this guy, humbling. Adolf Hoxton, humbling. I always was surrounded by people not smarter than me, way smarter than me. I had a PhD. Okay, I was good at getting coffee, and it wasn't really getting coffee. I was good at doing whatever I was asked to do and working all night and all day, and the next night and the next day. They knew that. They got that out of me, and I did well with it. But boy, I had people around me that were brilliant minds. I saw it coming. I saw we were going to get to Mars. This was going to happen. Didn't happen.
You've gotten to Mars in a different way, though. You have gotten to Mars as an art dealer, par excellence. Really, really, really. And even that hasn't been easy. I mean, you used to go around with a truck on weekends and do auctions where you would meet young artists and put them in the back of put their paintings in the back of the truck. Sometimes you would go with them. And from that 900 square foot gallery, and we want to talk about where you are today. It's not only the museum in Southfield, Michigan, but you just had two other very large, really new ventures. And let's talk about where you are now.
Well, I want to just back up just one little second, because you're right on target about the art and the truck. I don't want to give you something not in the book. It's always fun for stuff not in the book. I lost a guy named Tom Bacher. I had this thing, I had a truck, it was going to be, Bacher Paints America. He was a New York artist, and he painted these incredible paintings, but they were always just plain all white and lumpy looking. But he painted them with glow-in-the-dark paint. So when the night would come, you'd take this painting and you'd see 42nd Street, Manhattan, going up and coming down. You'd see it in the day and the night in a certain way, and they were incredibly seductive, brilliant, great. Everybody was raving about his work, and I lost him to drugs. I lost about 3 or 4 artists to drugs. It was a problem in those days. You got artists from the late 60s, early 70s, and you're catching some good people, and there was more drug use than you'd like to think there was out there, both in Detroit and in New York. But anyway, going back, driving the truck, doing all that stuff, but it suited me well. I mean, I actually enjoyed it. That part of the work was, the building of a frame. And I remember Dan McCartney, my first framer, not in the book. But so yes, and where we are today is a far different place. I can do a fast forward to that in that it really happened as a result of a program, a plan of teaching, a plan of saying, I will do the best possible job I can do to communicate with my people, to communicate with Alan Miller. I want to talk to Alan Miller. I want to talk to Alan. I want to tell Alan about art. Through myself, initially, through myself. I'm going to read really well up on my subject. I know exactly what I'm talking about. I'll go far beyond what I need to go far beyond, and I'll really give them a great show. I know I won't sell all the things. I know I'll sell some things. I'll sell enough to make enough money to come back again and do it again. But what I'll do is I'll make friends, and I'll educate, and I'll educate, and I'll make friends, and I'll be fair in my dealing. And just keep doing it, and it just seemed to work. People liked it. People liked it.
I think making friends was not only from people who are buying the art, but you made friends with some of the great artists in the world. And I mean, right over my shoulder is a Peter Max, which we have probably for about 10 years now. But he's one of your close friends.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We have probably 15 Tarkais, not originals, unfortunately, but we met Yitzhak Tarkai not only at one of your hotel auctions, but through a friend of mine. And as a matter of fact, he referred to me as Papa because I was a year older than he was, and
Nice.
uh, great loss, and
Yeah, it was.
a favorite artist of ours. And we have acquired a very eclectic collection through Park West, and of just so many of your artists, and so many of them that we've had the opportunity to meet at various functions, that it's one of the things that you do. You bring artists to the art galleries. Now you've just opened up not only a museum in Las Vegas, but there's a new one that's opening up in Hawaii. And I think it may be just opened. I think I heard John Block mention, and I should mention John Block and Maury Shapiro, who gave a heads up about this interview last week at the auction. And I appreciate that very much. But for instance, Maury Shapiro, who really is a great art historian, came along about 37 years ago, and here he is with you today. So it's not only getting to know people, but it's keeping people and keeping them advised. And you have so many auctioneers now working in these various auctions. But what I wanted to ask you is, we got hit with the pandemic. Ships stopped sailing, everything stopped. How did Park West then come up with the idea of going online with auctions every week?
Well, you know, the great thing about Park West is are the people, and the people, not just our staff, the people who buy art from us, the people. So when everything hit, we had a double whammy. We got hit with a you know, one of those cyber attacks, which we did very well with. We beat the thing down rapidly, but we got hit at the same time as the pandemic. And we were already in sort of heavy gear operative mode from the day was March 11, 2020. It was a Tuesday, 12, 13, maybe it was a Wednesday night. Checked the calendar, and I got the call about a little after midnight. And from that moment on, I'll tell you the truth, the first time I had any relaxation was this Memorial Day. I'm not joking with you. I'm a hard worker. I like to work. I don't mind work. I work hard. That's what keeps me going. So how did it happen? John Block, oh man, John's like Maury Shapiro. These guys are supermen. They're super. And there's like Jason Betteridge, Rob Duckett, Jordan Sitter. It goes on and on and on and on. These guys are
All
like
those
supermen.
names, all those names that you mentioned have been auctioneers at various auctions that we've been at.
Yep.
Every one of them. And
Yep.
and we have enjoyed them so much. But in addition to enjoying them, we have learned so much about art that I can look over your shoulder and say, "Oh, that's a Brito, isn't it?" Who we don't happen to collect, but we do collect so many others. It's incredible. So,
Yeah.
how did you gear up and suddenly come up with the idea to go online and have these weekly auctions, which have been tremendous?
We're having, when the pandemic hits, we're early on in the pandemic, day 2, 3, 4, March 13th is when everything shut down. And I believe we're getting to that weekend, and we know we have to break loose. Our clients are calling us, wanting to know about the event they were coming to, wanting to know about, and we're selling, doing a lot of business over the phone. And I overheard a meeting, and I remember it was in John Lichtenberg's old office, which no longer, it's become a museum now. The museum is expanding again, which is going to be unbelievable, really unbelievable. It's unbelievable already. It's going to be double, triple unbelievable. And I'm not exaggerating.
The Southfield function.
Yeah, the big mama, 30,000 square feet. It's a mama. It's the big boy. For those who really want to see an art museum, a modern art museum, the kind of art people are buying in the world today, you, me, us, what we do, that's the spot.
Yeah, we plan to come out there this summer.
Oh,
and
look forward.
Yeah,
Look forward to having you. Yeah, it'll be a little premature for the new expansion. You'll see the museum in a good way. You'll see it as it exists, which is fabulous. But yeah, it's going to be expanded. But anyway, I'm listening to a meeting that's going on, and I hear all the right things being said. Wonderful things. We're always in R&D mode, R&D, research and development. That's where I come from. So we're always in that R&D mode. We're always looking at other things, looking at things to do. We've opened galleries. We know how to do a lot of stuff. We already knew internally how to sell art online. We already knew how to hook up with the right contractors to give us the airtime we needed. I'm listening to, will our program work or not? And are we willing to beta test it live on air? That's what I'm hearing. And I'm saying, this thing will go now? And they're saying, yes. I said, okay, this meeting is not over, but it's sort of over. I said, I want us to go live Thursday. They went, what? This was like a Friday before. I said, Thursday. Because for next week, I want to have an auction. You get the clients. The hardest part will be contacting the clients. It didn't happen. I kind of half knew it wouldn't happen, but I wanted it to happen because all the elements were in place. The clients were demanding it. They wanted to go on a VIP cruise. I said, you guys can get your act together. It's not that if you don't, I will. So I never speak like it's ridiculous. But I know how good you are. I know you're aching to do this anyway. So my talent, the John Block, the Maurice Shapiro, the Rob Duckett, Jason Betters, the Jordan Sitters, they're raring to go. And then the backup people, the Cole Waters, the Dave Gormans, the Will Roberts, they're behind the scenes with clients organized in a very organized way. Chris Fanu, many others, 50 associates working at any given event all the time, talking to these clients one-on-one, extracting for that client the needle in the haystack if they want it. And you know what I'm talking about, Alan, because you're working with these folks. That's what we do. We're so client-centric, it's crazy. It's what I demand, it's what I want. Treat each one like you know how I would want them to be treated. I love it with people. I love my father, talk about loving people. I mean, I could tell you story after story. He went to the 5th grade, yeah. He could do numbers faster than anyone. Anyway, so hard work, a great team, a great bunch of clients, because it grew out of the chute, right out of the bat. We had an over $1 million event first weekend. We went, what? Because we were hoping to do just enough money to pay a few bills. Next thing you know, we got a business that attracted over 100 million and did over that in its first year in business, which for any new business is phenomenal. It carried us, and other things we do, the galleries, or other things we've been doing for many, many years.
And also keeping your facility in Miami Lakes open and keeping the people working. And that's really important for people to know. There is a large facility there. If you buy a painting with Park West, believe me, I can attest to it. You get it shipped, you get it framed and shipped, and you get a frame in many cases more expensive than the painting that you
in almost every case under $500 or $600. It's crazy. But we give value for money. We're big negotiators. We got a big bat to swing to buy products. Nobody in the world can buy as many as we can. Nobody has that negotiating power. We have the same strength as Amazon when it comes to shipping things. We're not Amazon, but there's no difference for us. So our rates and everything, imagine we could put a big box in your home for like frame $399, $490, $590, $190, $199. I ask my people, run your numbers sharp, run them tight, make sure we don't run upside down, but give the edge to the client.
And in many cases with legitimate valuation, really
all cases. We really are very, very careful on our valuations. We have certified appraisers, teams of them, poring over those things on an annual basis, and we're tight as a drum. We know how to appraise. That's why sometimes you see these big numbers. Sometimes the appraisal could be, it's 750, we're asking 650. Sometimes it could be 750, we're asking $100. We don't determine that. That's outside appraisals that we look at. So you do see big variations in these appraisals. Yeah, absolutely. But the appraisal is that price that an appraiser believes One would ask for it under normal retail circumstances, normal gallery circumstances.
And you have trained a lot of auctioneers. One of the things you do, and one of the things you've done as a teacher, is training. I understand calling, character, chemistry, and competence are four elements of Albert Scaglione, which is imparted into the people who have to become auctioneers, and they also have
Yeah.
to have a personality, and
Yeah.
as well as being knowledgeable. And for instance, Maurice Shapiro blows me away with
Huh.
his knowledge of art that I can only think about in terms of being able to afford some of the masters. And you have the masters as well as the contemporary artists. And you're also really bringing in new artists all the time, as you have done even this year.
And talk about Maury for 1 second. Here is a man so professorial, studied under Sam Sachs, who was the director of the Short Institute of Art for years. He studied at the Minneapolis Museum of Fine Art. He was the director for other galleries before he came to Park West over 35 years ago. And when he's on TV or when you see him personally, he's really understated. He's got way more material to share with you. I mean, you could have dinner with him and he could talk for 2 hours more about the same painting. He's that good at it. He's really brilliant. So I'm so happy that you're seeing that, Alan, because thank you. We thank you for that.
And then we have John Block with his personality, as well as many of the other auctioneers, who can put some levity into the auction, because it's still, to sit there for 3 hours is a chore for a lot of people. But to
And
sit
he's
there,
also your strongest secret weapon. When you want something done, you go to John Block. You need the gallery open in Las Vegas. You need to find the place. You need to get it done. Go to John. Honolulu, go to John. Make sure it's operating right. Go to John. Need the auction stabilized here with Maurice Shapiro. Go to John. John's an executive VP for a reason. He's really, 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 really very good. So again, thank you for picking that up. That's what Park West is. It's its people. It's its people.
and we actually have only a minute left to this interview, unfortunately. So I would like to do it again and
Why
really
not?
go into more in depth.
Why not?
with you,
Why not? I'd love it. I'd
because
love it. It's fun. It's
it
fun.
really, there's so much about you and Park West that people don't know and should know. And by all means, I would look forward to doing this again with you at some place.
My pleasure. My
down the
pleasure.
road.
I love documenting stuff. This is what I do. I have a beautiful set of films I did with Victor Vassarelli years ago. I have things with Agam. I love doing stuff like this. So with my pleasure, my friend, my pleasure. I might be a little all over the place for you. I hope I'm not. But I like to give you things that are not in the book, because of course anybody can get the book, you can buy the book and read the book. And if you buy a picture from us, you'll get a signed book by me. Signed book by me. My own name, Albert, boom, I signed it, you get one. Every time you buy a picture, you get another one. Alan, I think that's what's happening. I hope if it's not, you better let me know.
We've been talking with Albert Scaglione, Park West Gallery, which is now worldwide. And this is something that's to be continued down the road. Albert, thank you so much.